Another example. The equation is 2x squared plus 2y squared minus 5x plus 6y plus 10 equals 0. First, solve for the discriminant where a is 2, b is 0, and c is also 2. Thus, we have 0 squared minus 4 times 2 is negative 16. Negative 4 times 2 is negative 8 times 2 is negative 16. Since the discriminant is negative and a and c are equal, the graph, if it exists, is a circle. To verify, we express the equation in standard form. First, collect all x and y, and transpose the constant term to the right side of the equation. Then, group all x and y. Dito, hindi na natin kailangan i-change ang sign since addition ang ating operation. So we proceed in completing the square. But first, we need to factor out the numerical coefficient in x and y. So we have 2 times x squared minus 5x divided 2 is 5 halves times x, plus 2 times y squared plus 6y divided 2 is 3y, equals negative 10. Complete the square in x. We square half the coefficient of x. The coefficient of x is negative 5 over 2. First, find half of negative 5 over 2. So we divide by 2. Simplify, copy negative 5 over 2, then change the operation to multiplication and get the reciprocal of 2, which is 1/2. So this is equal to negative 5 over 4. Negative 5 times 1 is negative 5, and 2 times 2 is 4. So half of negative 5 over 2 is negative 5 over 4. Square negative 5 over 4, so this is equal to 25 over 16. Negative 5 squared is 25, and 4 squared is 16. So we have here plus 25 over 16. Plus, complete the square in y. The coefficient of y is 3. Divided by 2 is 3 over 2. So half of 3 is 3 halves. Square 3 over 2, and this is equal to 9 over 4. 3 squared is 9, and 2 squared is 4. So we write here plus 9 over 4 equals negative 10. And do not forget to add these values on the right side. But since we factor out 2, we must multiply it with these values. So 25 over 16 times 2 is 50 over 16. 25 times 2 is 50, then copy the denominator, which is 16. And 50 over 16 is 25 over 8 in its lowest form. So we write here plus 25 over 8. Here, 9 over 4 times 2 is 18 over 4. 9 times 2 is 18, and copy 4. 18 over 4 is equal to 9 over 2. We divide the numerator and denominator by 2. Thus, we have plus 9 over 2. Then we factor the left side. We have 2 times x. Half of negative 5 over 2 is negative 5 over 4, quantity squared, plus 2 times y. Half of 3 is 3 over 2, then quantity squared, equals negative 19 over 8. Negative 10 plus 25 over 8 is negative 55 over 8. 8 times negative 10 is negative 80, plus 25 is negative 55 over 8, plus 9 over 2 is negative 19 over 8. The LCD of 8 and 2 is 8. 8 divided 8 is 1 times negative 55 is negative 55, plus 8 divided 2 is 4 times 9 is 36, and negative 55 plus 36 is negative 19 over 8. Since we assume that this equation is a circle, we divide the equation by 2. So it follows the form of a circle, which is x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared. Dapat walang coefficient dito sa may x and y squared term, kaya i-divide natin by 2 ang equation. So the equation is x minus 5 over 4 quantity squared plus y plus 3 over 2 quantity squared equals negative 19 over 16. Negative 19 over 8 divided by 2 is equal to negative 19 over 8 times 1/2. we get the reciprocal of 2. Negative 19 over 8 times 1/2 is negative 19 over 16. Negative 19 times 1 is negative 19, and 8 times 2 is 16. The resulting equation, a contradicting result, follows the form of the equation of a circle x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals r squared. However, the value of r squared is negative. And if the radius is negative, the equation represents no graph. This is an example of degenerate case. Although the equation follows the form of a circle where a and c are equal, the conic is not a circle since r is negative. That means the equation does not exist. Number 3, the equation is 16y squared minus x squared plus 2x plus 64y plus 63 equals 0. First, solve for the discriminant. A is 16, b is 0, and c is negative 1. Substitute these values and simplify. 0 squared minus 4 times 16 times negative 1 is 64. Negative 4 times 16 is negative 64 times negative 1 is positive 64. Since the discriminant is positive, the graph, if it exists, is a hyperbola. To verify, we write the equation in standard form. Collect all y and all x, and transpose the constant term to the right side of the equation. Then group all y and x. Since the operation here is subtraction, we need to change the sign from positive to negative. So that if we distribute the sign, negative times negative 2x, it will become positive 2x. Next, we complete the square in x and y. Take note, inuna natin ang y since ito ang nauuna sa equation. Before you complete the square, make sure to factor out first the numerical coefficient if there's any. Here, we factor out 16. So we have y squared plus 4y, 64y divided 16 is 4y, minus, we just copy, x squared minus 2y since x squared lang siya, equals negative 63. So we complete the square in y. We take half of 4, which is 2, and square it, so we have 4. 2 squared is 4, minus, complete the square in x. Half of negative 2 is negative 1, and negative 1 squared is positive 1, equals negative 63, plus 64. 16 times 4 is 64, minus 1. Negative times positive 1 is negative 1. Factor the left side, so we have 16 times y plus 2 quantity squared. Half of 4 is 2, minus x minus 1 quantity squared. Half of negative 2 is negative 1, equals 0. Negative 63 plus 64 is 1, minus 1 is 0. Since the right-hand side of the equation is equal to 0, this is an example of degenerate conic. So if we solve for y, we have 16 times y plus 2 quantity squared equals x minus 1 quantity squared. We just transpose x minus 1 quantity squared to the right side para sa left side ay ang expression with y squared term. Then divide the equation by 16. We have y plus 2 quantity squared equals 1 over 16 times x minus 1 quantity squared. Now to eliminate this exponent, we take the square root of both sides. Thus we have y plus 2 equals plus and minus 1/4 since we extract the root. Square root of 1 is 1 and square root of 16 is 4 times x minus 1. We crossed out the radical sign and the exponent 2 and copy x minus 1. This means we have y plus 2 equals positive 1/4 times x minus 1 and y plus 2 equals negative 1/4 times x minus 1. First, distribute 1/4 to x minus 1. Thus, we have y plus 2 equals 1/4 x minus 1/4. 1/4 times x is 1/4 x and 1/4 times negative 1 is negative 1 over 4. Then, transpose positive 2 to the right side and combine like terms. So the equation is y equals 1/4 x minus 9 over 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, and negative 1 minus 8 is negative 9 over 4. Here, we apply the same process. First, distribute negative 1/4 to x minus 1. So we have y plus 2 equals negative 1/4 x plus 1/4. Negative times negative is positive. Then, transpose positive 2 to the other side and combine like terms. Thus, the equation is y equals negative 1/4 x minus 7 over 4. 4 times negative 2 is negative 8, and positive 1 minus 8 is negative 7 over 4. And these are two intersecting lines. The graph looks like this. So this is an example of the degenerate case of hyperbola. Therefore, to identify the type of conic given its general second-degree equation, compute first for its discriminant given by b squared minus 4ac, where b is equal to 0, then write the equation in standard form. Now, let us summarize the four non-degenerate conics: circle, parabola, ellipse, and hyperbola. The equation is a circle if both x and y appear and their coefficients are the same. The general equation of a circle is ax squared plus ay squared plus dx plus ey plus f equals 0. Parabola if exactly one of x squared or y squared appear. If the equation is quadratic in x, the parabola opens upward or downward. And if the equation is quadratic in y, the parabola opens to the right or to the left. On the other hand, the equation is an ellipse if both x squared and y squared appear and their coefficients a and c have the same sign but are unequal. While hyperbola if both x squared and y squared also appear and their coefficients a and c have different signs. And that's all about the conic sections.